The Modern Man tutorial, providing and protecting. Money is a big component of providing, but it's not the only component, obviously. There's a lot you could provide. You can provide value in different ways, right? You can provide advice, you can provide protection, right? You can provide uh, access, to other people, to resources, you know, to benefits. Um, that's the thing. you know what makes a guy valuable is what he's capable of doing, right? His him being tall, his ability to reach high places, right? Him being strong, his ability to do manual labor, lift heavy things, carry heavy things, be able to build, because you can easily carry things and move things around, right? You have both brains and bronze, so you have the physical capabilities to do what your mind, you know, sets out to do, right? So these are the types of things that you you provide because of your genetics. So this is what you bring to the table. The bare minimum, of course. There's more that you can bring to the table. Personality, communication skills, and the list goes on and on. But it's very important as a guy that you understand that money isn't important, but it's a tool, and you're still gonna need it. Just like you might not use a screwdriver all the time, right? But it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, right? So you should always plan for the worst, hope for the best, right? So you always, that's why, having money for divorce or money for marriage or money for the marriage itself, like to get married and then to actually be married, right? Money for, child support, and the list goes on and on. Because we know this stuff exists. A lot of guys out here tend to act like it's a surprise. Like, they act like child support is a surprise, alimony is a surprise, divorce is a surprise. It's like, we created a society that's based off of money. Are you surprised you have to pay for anything in this world? Shouldn't be. We literally created the concept. Men created a concept of money equals life, right? Money equals whatever you need it to equals food, equals shelter, equals booty, whatever. Like, that's the whole point of it. Yet it's so ironic to see a whole bunch of guys make a big deal about it when they have to pay for something. It's like, what? But that's the point of money. It's to spend it, not to keep it. It's to spend it. It's to use it. Well, not spend it, but use it. Spend it means something different. It means you're using the money incorrectly. That's what spending really means. Using it wisely, right? As we always say, you always want to use your money wisely. That's why investing your money into stuff that makes you money, or at least gives you infinite resources that you can make money from. Think about it. Wouldn't it be smart to buy a farm? You don't have to live on it. You don't have to manage it, like run it, like, milk cows or anything like that. You can have somebody else do that. You can pay somebody else to run the farm for you. You just own it. So that way you benefit from what it produces. So if it produces milk and eggs and meats and all that stuff, then you benefit from that, right? That's inherently a food supply, just for you and the people you share it with, right? Inherently. Plus, you can always sell it, right? Not only can you sell it, you can also trade it. That's the thing. Money is it's just our version of the barter system. Because back in the day, we used to give people stuff. Like, if you wanted somebody's daughter to be your wife, you usually paid the family with stuff. You gave them stuff in exchange for her, right? It wasn't free, right? You didn't get it for free. You had to pay for it. This is why weddings are not cheap or free. You have to pay for the weddings, pay for the rings and all that stuff, right? And it's very costly because that's literally her price. If you spend $1 million on the wedding, that is literally her price. That's what you paid for your wife, right? And the list goes on, right? Just like when you date a girl, right? The date's not gonna be for free. I mean, if you're that guy, you do what I do, then it is for free, or she paying for it, if you know what I mean. But that's for a different conversation. I talked about that before, about them chasing you and them simping for you and them paying for you, right? Because you're the price. But in this scenario, we're talking about you being a provider, right? You doing things for her to benefit her, and that's where the providing comes in. So you have to understand that you need to have a budget. Most guys don't have a dating budget. Like, I got a dating budget. Typically, it's like $400 to $500 at most. I'll spend on a chick. It's not just for the date. It's just like that's the dating budget. Like, that's how much a max, right? That I'll spend before I'm like, okay, I need to start doing things for free, as opposed to spending money, right? So, like the first date, I might spend like $30, right, out of the 500 budget, right? So literally have money set aside. You can have a credit card, let's say that has a $500 credit card limit. Use that to pay for everything, to buy her things, to pay for dates, drinks, whatever, right? Uber, Lyft drives, that kind of stuff. You get the point, right? Put it on credit. Always pay on credit first, and then pay it off later. Because one, you could always pay it slowly, blah, blah, blah. And you get the point. Always pay in credit. So you do that, right? And you have one card. It's like, oh, this is the card that I use whenever I'm out with the ladies. Boop, 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 boop. And yes, I said ladies because I tend to talk to multiples. So have a budget for, dating, right? Just like you should have a budget for your bills, budget for your vacations, and the list goes on and on. It's like, you got to manage your money better. Most of you guys don't manage your money. All y'all think about is once y'all get paid, what you're going to do with it. When you should already know what you're going to do with it, which typically first and foremost is not to spend it, is to try to save as much of it as possible. Then whatever's left over after you save, and what you're saving, you're going to obviously invest, not just save. And then the rest of it is what you use to pay for stuff. But you should always pay for stuff on credit and then pay off the credit with your paycheck, right? That's the way I do it. That's the way you should do it. That's the way the rich people do it. So, that's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta get better at using money so that you can get the resources you want. Because another thing about money is that you need to use the money to have more free time. More free time for what? To be with women, to be able to spend time with them, to be able to go on dates and stuff like that. If you're working all the time or you're working long hours, that's less time you have to live your life. And if you're living your life less, right, you have less time in your life, that means you have less time for them, right, for the ladies. So then that's just a waste, right? I'm trying to buy back more time. Right? I'm trying to get more free time, because there's opportunities and ladies out there that I would like to spend time with, but because I'm busy, because I'm working, I don't have time for them. But I want to make time for them because they're worth it. Plus, I just want time in general. But yes, I'm gonna use that time wisely and hang out with the ladies. The purpose for guys, ultimately, the purpose of money or the purpose of providing and whatnot is for women, right? Is to provide for them, so that way they spend more time with us, right? If we're giving them nothing, we're not giving them someplace safe, so they can, loosen up and, wear something more comfortable, if you know what I mean. Then they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna get more comfortable in a parking lot. Right? That's lame. You want to make sure they're somewhere safe and comfortable, somewhere where, they feel that they can be their true self instead of being modest or shy or any other extra stuff, right? That kind of stuff. Let them be their true self, or let them at least be interested in being open-minded into doing things differently than they normally would, just because they're on a yacht or they're flying to France or Dubai or some place they want. Right, logical stuff like the ability to provide. Right, no one says you got to have millions of dollars to be with the opposite sex. Clearly not. Does it help? Yeah, makes it way easier, and you can interact with multiple females if you have millions of dollars. But you don't have to have all that to be able to deal with the opposite sex. You just gotta have enough resources that if you need to go somewhere, you always have a means of transportation. You always have a way to get in from point A to point B, right? Whether it be Uber, it be your own limo service, right? Your own car, whatever. Being able to fly places, right? Whether you have your frequent flyer miles and you use those perks to fly, or you got some other type of resource or connect. Maybe, because I remember we had that in the military, that we had the benefit that if a military flight was leaving a certain location, like let's say in your city, to like let's say Florida, you can just get on that flight for free because you're a military personnel, and you can get a flight to Florida for free, and then you just fly back, right? So you're flying from one military base to another one. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's a way that's a perk we had in the military. I don't know if they still have it. I mean, they should. That'd be drawing not to have that nice perk. I wanted to take advantage of it, but I didn't travel much back then. I mean, I went to Iraq and Germany. That's about it, right? But anyway, the point is that you got to consider the fact that you're going to need to have a life. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It doesn't have to be expensive. But you don't have to be a billionaire to have a life. Blah 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 type of nonsense. You just gotta have stuff, right? At least for yourself, first and foremost, right? Have shelter, reliable shelter. Not a situation where it's like, oh man, I could get kicked out next month if I miss rent. Don't put yourself in a better position. You should be paying 2, 3, 4, 5 months ahead, or even a whole year ahead when it comes to rent. You know what I mean? You need to put effort towards getting as much money as possible to pay for at least a year, right? If you have a 1-year lease, pay it all off. Like, boom, here's the money, the rent for the whole entire year. That way you only have to focus on bills, and of course, try to keep them low so that way you save money, right? Saving money is the same thing as making money. That's the way I look at it anyway. So, and like I said, if you make things easier for yourself, then it's easier for you to share your easy life with your significant other. The better you are at providing things for yourself, the better you are to provide for others. So that's why providing is a must-have skill as a man. Not just for the opposite sex, for yourself at least. And then you're beneficial to other men if you are good at providing, right? If you're good at gathering resources and utilizing those resources to in creative ways, right? To get the most out of them. That makes you high value to the world, right? To other men. They will highly value you as a part of their network. Networking is something you can provide, right? It's a resource. It's just as valuable as money. It's not what you know, it's who you know, right? That's a million times more valuable than money. I've seen it many times where there'll be millionaires who will be like, man, if I suddenly became broke and I had to, build my wealth back up, what would I do? What would I need? One of the most common thing they talk about is their network. It's like, even if they lose all their money, as long as they still have their network, they can always get rich again, right? It'll be easier to get rich again because of their network, because they know people who know people who know people who can help them out. You might know somebody who owns a hotel. It's like, all right, well, I'm broke. I can't live where I live anymore. I need a place to stay until I can get back on my feet. Bang. You can stay at a hotel. On a hotel suite that's probably, vacant for like 2 to 3 months, right? Because it's not being booked. So you have at least 2 to 3 months in that suite to get your shit together, right? You're gonna have Wi-Fi in there, right? Free Wi-Fi and all that stuff in there. Bath rooms, right? Free linen, cleaning, and all that good stuff, right? And you probably have access to a gym. You get the point. There's a lot of resources there, so that's why you definitely want to have, somebody who you could be like, yo, can I stay in a suite for like a week or two, so I can get some shit together? That's if you're in a bad situation. Obviously, you should never allow yourself to be in a bad situation, but you get my point. That providing for yourself is very important. And then your ability to provide for others. You should always have more than what you need. You should always try to have more and more and more, because that allows you to provide not just for yourself, for your own needs, but to provide for other people, like your kids, your wife, your friends and family, your community, right? Your people. You want to be able to provide for them at least. I'm not saying provide for the world, but at least provide for your people, right? Your tribe, your kingdom. So that's where money plus what you do with it plus how you interact with everybody else in the world is what determines that. When it comes to providing, protecting, obviously protect yourself from bodily harm, protect yourself from sicknesses by being healthy, right? Fitness and whatnot. Protect yourself from not just protect yourself, but also be able to protect others, keep others safe. And being able to protect your woman, protect your children, right? I always recommend make sure your woman learns how to fight, right? Teach her to fight, or pay for her to learn how to fight. You know what I mean? I even encourage training the kids to fight when they're ready, right? When they're old enough to be able to learn self-defense, but understand it's self-defense. It's not to be a bully. It's not to start fights. It's definitely not how you resolve disagreements and disputes. Obviously teach them how to control their emotions, handle conflict. Conflict resolution, as they say. Teach them a lot. Prepare them to be the best human they could possibly be. Right? Teach them every skill you possibly can. That's part of being a provider. You provide them the resources they need to be better human beings, as well as provide yourself the ability to be a better human being, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, socially. All the lees, right? All the little lees. You get it? So, yeah, also location, where you live is important, right? Super important. It's very important to keep an eye out on, the security of your home, the security of yourself, your family, friends, the security of your nation. Right? It's important to keep track if your country's going to be invaded or not. It's a good idea to keep an eye out for that and prepare for it. Right? Have a plan. If a zombie apocalypse happens, have a plan for that. The list goes on. Right? Location is key. You might want to. I'm definitely still looking for certain locations on this planet that will be ideal to live in, or at least to spend more of my time at than other locations, just in case the world is going a certain direction that I'm not a fan of, and at least I'll be in a better position, at least for my friends and family, keep them safe. Like I said, security, right? Not only security from basic shit, from people breaking into your house or car, but security even from the state of the world, security from the apocalypse, the end of the world. Like always think safety first, as they always say, especially in the military. Safety first, always safety. Perimeter check, right? Secure the area, always safety. Always make sure you're safe. Always make sure those who are around you are safe. Then worry about the basics, the logistics, like getting water, getting food, medical supply, all that good stuff, right? I am a military boy, so man, I should say. So clearly I still use the mindset of a soldier to live my life and to run, manage, operate, whatever you want to call it, my relationships. There's a hierarchy, obviously, on the commander. Number one, numero uno. I'm the leader, so I gotta make sure I lead, right? And that's another thing of providing, is providing leadership, intelligence, facts, truth, emotional support, but also emotional control. Don't allow yourself and others to flip the fuck out, right? Or have emotional issues, or things of that nature. Emotions tend to be bad more than they are good, so they tend to be more wrong than right. So that's why you got to control your emotions, and also control the emotions of those around you, right? When everyone's afraid, you got to act like you're not. We all get scared. We all get worried. what I get scared about, us get scared of the most, besides whales, is failure. That's what I fear the most. Is failure. You know, failure to protect people, failure to do something right. Right. I don't want to do something wrong, and I don't want to be wrong. So I do my best to try to be right as much as possible. Which is why I don't do opinions, even if people out there love saying, "Oh, that's just your opinion. That's just your opinion." No, that's your opinion of what I'm saying is an opinion, but what I'm saying isn't an opinion. It's observations or facts or personal experience, which leads to facts because I literally experience those things. But opinions are what I think might be true. That's an opinion, right? Which is very close to a lie, right? It's not something that is true. It's something that I wish it was true. Just because I think the sky would look better purple doesn't mean it actually is purple, right? That's what an opinion is. Something that's not factual. And I'm all about the facts and the truth and reality. So let's try to stay there, right? Like I said, security, right? Martial arts training is useful. There are self-defense tools and technology that can be used to protect your family. You can try to make your car more safe with security measures, right? Security features. Your house, like I said before, location of where your house or where you live and whatnot. Those are important factors. Just even your circle of friends, making sure you don't have the fox in the hen house scenario, right? You don't have enemies behind your behind the lines, right? You don't want enemies in your circle, friends, right? Because they'll betray you, obviously, right? So you want to make sure you're safe, and those around you are safe. So this leads to being very controlling, but you'd rather have control of your life than to have no control, because chaos is the absence of control. Harmony is the presence of control. So if you want a nice, harmonious, life, a nice, balanced life, you need control.